Welcome to Marvel Champions Podcast, a podcast about Marvel Champions, the card game. I'm your host, Scott, and with me, as always, my co-host, Ryan.
That's right, and we are here live on a Thursday with a new release of an upcoming hero, Scott. Pretty excited?
Yeah, this is fresh. I've not looked over it, so it's be exciting. Get our first initial reactions.
Yeah. Well, I have looked over the article a little bit,
my gosh.
so not as fresh for me, but hey, whatever.
Okay. All right. Well, why don't we just jump right in? Everybody was waiting for it.
Yep, I think everybody knew this was coming based off the little teaser of last week, but we have Silk as the new hero, and I get the honor of talking about the alter ego, which is Sydney Moon. She is a 3 recovery, genius traded, so I like that, and she has a beginning text and then an action. So the main text is, if there are more than 4 tucked cards here, discard all but 4 of those cards. So simply saying, if you have more than 4, discard. And then the action, discard a card tucked here, draw 2 cards, limit once per round. Something about this story doesn't add up. That's the little flavor text for you.
Okay. All right, Ryan. What do you like about it?
Well, I should mention 6 hand size, 10 hit points.
Okay, kind of average there.
Yeah, I like where this is heading so far. A complete different style of hero. We're getting into these tucked cards, and we got a little taste of it with the Gambit basic ally tucking cards. So it's what she's all about, apparently.
Yeah, and my first thoughts is I like drawing cards, so drawing 2 by discarding a tucked card sounds pretty good.
That's
sounds
always
like
a win.
Does want to go to alter ego some, so
I'm kind of surprised that she has a hand size of 6 if you can discard a tuck card and get draw 2, because then that basically makes it a hand size of 8, which is crazy.
Yeah. I think there, though, it would hinder you at the start of the game because you're not going to start with any cards tucked there.
Yes, correct.
Unless something else says to, but I doubt it. All right. Ingenious. That's another genius.
I don't know. Maybe this is the genius wave. This
Ooh,
is number 2 in a
'cause
row.
Sure, he was a genius, too.
Maybe we'll get Beast.
Oh, maybe. All right. So Cindy Moon as a hero is Silk. She is a 1 Thor, 2 attack, 3 defense web warrior. If there are more than 4 tucked cards here, discard all but 4 of those cards. So same text.
Mm-hmm.
She has an action, a response. Silk Sense response after you defeat a minion or side scheme or resolve a treachery card. Tuck that card under here from the encounter discard pile. Hand size 5, hit points 10. All right, so she can go grab those defeated minion, side schemes, and treachery cards. She's got a big defense. I worry a little about her Thor being 1. That's just my initial thoughts.
Yeah, that's always a concern. When I see 1 Thor on a hero, my first instinct is, oh, great, this is going to be a hero that's going to struggle. So I don't know if anybody's noticed, but if you kind of go down the hero list, heroes that have 1 Thor tend to struggle overall in the game.
I would agree.
Apparently, it's a big difference between 1 and 2 for heroes.
Yeah.
But I do like that 3 defense.
I do like 3 defense. Hopefully she's got a way to ready.
Oh, yeah. Based off this ability, it's basically like any interaction with cards outside of the villain, you get to tuck.
Right.
That's pretty interesting. So, a lot of tucking. So, if I have a feeling that there's going to be someone that's going to devise a 3D printed way of like tucking cards and stuff. Just
Okay.
you wait.
All right, Ryan. Do we want to go events, upgrades, or support player side scheme?
Let's do the events real quick because I think they're very similar, but they're a little bit different. Do you want the attack one, and I'll take the good old fashioned event?
Yeah, I'll go attack.
Thwart.
So 3 cost event. It's swinging silk kick. Aerial attack superpower, hero action, deal 7 damage to an enemy. You may discard a card tucked under silk from the same encounter set as that enemy. If you do, This attack deals 2 additional damage and gains overkill. So
It's
pretty strong
nice
by itself.
I mean, 7 for 3 is, I guess that standard is the 3/8 from OG Spider-Man, but the ability of boosting it by 2 and gaining overkill is pretty awesome.
Yeah. So you, I think, want to attack minions with it. If you can do that second half, I just worry that you're not going to have the right encounter set similarities. I think that's gonna where this is gonna hinge on.
Yeah, I definitely kind of get this sense of there's a little bit of luck base unless you are focusing on like the scenarios encounter set, because there's obviously a lot more scenario encounter set cards stuff,
right?
So.
That make up the villain deck, right?
So if you're playing, let's say Crossfire encounter set, there's only like 5 cards in that, so the likelihood of being able to utilize it is going to be a lot smaller. Which could be a good balance, maybe.
Yeah. All right. It's our attack.
All right. Well, let's talk about this thwart. Wall Crawl, 1 cost, event superpowered thwart, hero action. Remove 2 threat from a scheme. Choose a scheme. You may discard a card tucked under Silk from the same encounter set as the chosen scheme to remove 3 threat from that chosen scheme. It took me a second. I had to read it a second time to actually like understand what it's saying, just to make sure I wasn't confused. But I like it. 1 cost, 2 threat, not necessarily great, but then you can choose any scheme, main scheme, side scheme, the same scheme. As long as you have that tuck card, you can remove an additional 3, and that's 1 for 5 potential is really good.
Yeah, but you said as long as you have that tuck card, that's not necessarily true. As long as you have the tucked card of the matching set, you can do it.
Well yeah, you gotta have that matching set.
Well, I know, but what if you don't have it? It just seems like the second half of the card has the potential to like whiff. Until we play it, can't get a good like statistical feel for it, but I just worry that you're gonna be like, oh, I don't have that set.
Yeah, there's definitely a timing issue of like, I gotta make sure, number one, I have to get a card from that encounter set, but then I have to be ready to discard it whenever that right time is. And sometimes you're definitely going to have those moments where it's not the right time, and then it's just a 2 threat,
1 for 2
cost, which is maybe not the best, especially if the thwart is only 1 on the base stats.
Yeah.
But I guess what I'm trying to say is you're right. 1 for 2, not great, but if you can pull off that second half, it's great.
Sure. I'll give you that. I just worry about the consistency of it.
It's definitely a boomer bust type card.
Yeah. Alrighty. Let's keep in hero form, Ryan, here. Let's go to a couple of her upgrades. So it looks like she's got some upgrades that interact with her tucked cards.
All right.
I'm going to go with that Spoiled Image was from her 2-cost upgrade Spider Claws. It's a weapon. Hero Interrupt. When Silk makes a basic attack, exhaust Spider Claws. For this attack, she gets +1 attack for each tucked card under her from the same encounter set as the attacked enemy. This attack gains piercing. So in order to have piercing, you have to have a matching tucked card to the enemy you're attacking. If not, it's just a basic attack.
So yeah, from my understanding is that obviously it's all about the tucked card. As long as you have 1, you're going to get a plus to your attack, and it gains piercing.
Yes. But it could be more than 1, because if like 2 of the 4 cards tucked under you were of the same encounter set, it would plus it by 2.
Yes. Yeah. So I like the phrasing on this one a little bit more than the events, because the events you have to discard the tucked card. This one you can save up and say if you're facing a villain, you just start tucking up to 4 of that same encounter villain set.
Right.
And now you get a +4 with piercing, which is crazy good.
That is good. Plus with her base 2, a high of at least 6, which is crazy.
Yeah. And of course, this is only when you make an attack, so it's not a static thing. So you can't do anything like aggressions, deal damage equal to your attack kind of thing. That this wouldn't help that.
Right. you can only use it once per, because you would have to ready it and yourself in order
Correct.
to perform it again, right?
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
But I do like the wording on this, so I do like this one.
Yeah, I like that you're not having to discard them, so you can kind of maybe plan for some bigger attacks.
Yeah, yeah. And even if you just have one, that's totally worth it to me. A +1 and piercing, that's great.
Yeah, for really no additional. Once you have it out, you just do it, right?
Yeah, and you're tucking cards anyway, so it's just there's no like penalty for getting it out. It's only a bonus.
Yeah, good.
All right. I'll take the defense one. This is a 2-cost upgrade. This one is a 2-cost upgrade. Spider Reflexes. It's a superpower, so Def Focus might be a good card for her. Hero Interrupt. When Silk defends, exhausts Spider Reflexes. For this attack, she gets +1 defense for each card tucked under her from the same encounter set as the attacking enemy. After this attack, tuck the top card of the encounter discard pile under Silk. So this one very similar. If you got those encounter sets, you're getting plus defense. She's already 3, so you could get up to 7 defense, which is insanity. That second part though, I think it could be good, but very circumstantial.
So I think just looking over those with it being a period and not part of there's no special cost for either one we just talked about except for exhausting it. I think the last part happens anyways if you don't have even the matching piece.
You think so?
Yes, because of the period. I think it's a separate like clause. So if I use spider clauses and clause, not clause. If you exhaust it, if you can do the first part by matching, you do it, and then the second part still occurs. So even if I don't plus my attack, I would still get piercing. This one, even if I don't increase my defense, I would still get to tuck the top card, top card of the encounter deck, discard encounter deck.
Gotcha. That would make sense, because then they're at least doing something every time and not just completely useless unless you have those tuck cards.
Yep. So that's one way that she can get tucked cards, because so far the only way to do it is a response based off of her hero ability.
Yeah. And it's important to note on this one is it's only after the attack, so you can't do it during an attack and be like, okay, here's that encounter set for the person that's attacking me. I'll go ahead and tuck it, and now I get that plus. It's only after.
Right. It interrupts to add the defense, but then at the conclusion of the attack or after the attack, the second part goes into effect.
Cool.
Yep. All right. Oh man, I should have saved this one for you. I'll read this one, Ryan, if I can get it to zoom in here. Eidetic Memory. It's a 1-cost upgrade.
It's not how I would have said that. So good.
I know. Superpower. Interrupt. When you reveal a card from the same encounter set as a card tucked under your identity, exhaust Eidetic Memory. Swap those cards. Reveal the card that had been tucked under Silk instead. So this looks like a way that you can swap out cards. Maybe if you get like a really bad encounter card, you can put out something a little more basic.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's a interrupt, so you could do it in alter ego or hero. But yeah, I feel like this is going to be very hit or miss, and that's probably why it's only 1 cost. There might be that time where you have this card and like, oh, I'd absolutely rather put in this scheme activation or whatever. What is it called? What's the scheme one? Advance. I'd rather do advance than Shadows of the Past, and you can swap them.
Right, because they're both the standard encounter set, right?
Yeah.
So what's interesting is, as you pointed it out, it's an interrupt, it's not a hero interrupt, but the card specifically says Silk. Whatever.
That's a good point.
Card is tucked under Silk, and technically she's Cindy Moon in alter ego, so.
That is true. That's a very good point.
Who knows? The shadow knows. All right, Ryan.
Well, in that case, it would have to be hero. So we might have to have a clarification later on. But yeah, that would be hero because of Silk.
Yep. All right. I'm going to take J. Jonah Jameson. Just because I know you like player side schemes. 3-cost support, Persona, alter ego action, exhaust this card, search your deck and discard pile for Get the Scoop, and put it into play. Action, exhaust this card, remove 2 threat from a side scheme. That's how you get around her 1 thwart, Ryan.
At 3 costs, that it stinks to pay for, but I agree. 2 threat off a side scheme, sign me up.
I know it doesn't affect the main, but still, 2 for free, once you pay the initial cost, that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. It mentioned to Get the Scoop, Ryan. Tell us what Get the Scoop is.
All right. Get the Scoop is a player side scheme specifically for Silk. This is the, 3rd hero with a identity
Specific
side scheme. Yep.
Yep.
It is 0 cost. Has a wild resource, which is cool. Alter ego action. Exhaust your identity. Remove 2 threat from here. Any player may trigger this ability. It does come in with 4 threat, I should mention. And then when defeated, the Sydney Moon player looks at the top 2 cards of the encounter deck and tucks one of those cards under their identity. So there you go.
There you go. Another way to keep tucking cards. And that way you get to pick. Maybe you get a little more ability to choose the one you want.
Yeah. And similar to Jubilees, it is not a victory side scheme, so you will get to keep playing it, which makes sense with J. Jonah Jameson and such. Yep. So it's definitely one that you can set up to do a lot of those side scheme things, whether with Justice specifically, like attaching Chance Encounter or whatever. You can do some stuff with that and hopefully get more bonuses than just the 2 cards / tuck.
Yep. Speaking of Justice, Ryan, she comes with protection.
Thank you. All right.
So
let's see. There are 5 protection cards that come out.
Yeah, they've previewed 5. Yep.
Okay. I call Stop Hitting Yourself.
Okay. Go into it.
All right. Stop hitting yourself. Something I heard all the time from Scott. 2 cost event.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Oh, sorry. 2 cost event. It's an attack hero response after you defend against an enemy attack and take no damage. Deal damage to that enemy equal to your defense for that attack. This is a pretty decent card for protection, I would say.
Yeah. You're kind of playing most of your hand during the villain phase. So if you go full steam into that kind of play style of protection, I can see it's a good thing. But then you're kind of limiting what you can do in your hero phase.
Very true. But if you're able to play it without sacrificing too much, that's good damage. I just think of Nightcrawler, who doesn't have to exhaust to defend. And if you have his swords on, he's a 4 defense. So that's a 4 attack for 2 costs, which isn't too bad.
Yeah, I agree. And, if you pair this with her reflexes, you defend, get, a good, +2, pretty good.
Yeah. And I think for someone like Ghost Spider, who's on the image, it's another good card for her.
And if you pair that with an unflappable, you at least get 1 card back. So.
Oh yeah.
All right, I'm gonna take Scarlet Spider just because I really like the character.
Okay, all right.
3 cost ally, 1/1, double consequential for both. Web Warrior, 5 health. But you're not gonna be using those. Interrupt. When another Web Warrior character would take any amount of damage, Scarlet Spider takes that damage instead. So I do like that he's 3 cost and not 4, because I think we've seen similar style of our allies out there, but they're just 4 cost, and I'm so hesitant to play them. So
yeah.
And I know there's some Web Warrior things, maybe you exhaust a card with a similar trait, you get to do things. Maybe he could be one that's just sitting there exhausting and not taking those 2 consequential damages.
Yeah. I'm kind of mixed on the Scarlet Spider here. I don't see the purpose of the 2 consequential damage. I feel like you've already made him weaker just by putting 1 Thor and 1 attack. I don't think you need the 2 consequential damage for both.
I think it's a balancing thing. Because if you look at most that have a single, their health is only like 3, so you're only going to get, 1 to 2-ish activations out of an ally anyways.
Yeah, but I guess my issue is his interrupt is basically what all allies can do in a way, which is step in front of an attack for you.
Yeah, but you don't have to, he doesn't have to exhaust to defend for you.
True, he doesn't have to exhaust to defend, and I guess you can still do your defense stuff.
Yeah.
As the hero to potentially get protection bonuses and just do the damage on Scarlet Spider. Like I get that. I think he has some good stuff with him. I'm not fully sold on it.
To me personally, I think he would be a good like minion attack soaker.
Yes.
When there's like those little ones that just kind of ping you, give it to him.
Yeah. Yeah. You should read the flavor text though.
Oh, roses are red, spiders are 2. One comes in scarlet and the other in blue. I mean, it is Valentine's Day today, Ryan.
Oh. How sweet.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's. All right. I think I want to take the upgrade.
Okay.
I'm going to do the 1 cost upgrade. Ready for a fight. It's a preparation requirement. It is a physical resource. Max 1 per player. Interrupt. When an enemy would scheme, discard ready for a fight. Change to hero form. That enemy attacks you instead. This is a similar to what Colossus has.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is like a Colossus card.
And this is I think this is very interesting. I like how it doesn't have to be attacking you or scheming you. It just says if it's scheming, you can flip it. So if we were playing 2 players, basically.
I think the other cool like potential play with this one is you're down, you drop to your alter ego hand size, you flip up, you deal with the attack, you do your hero phase, then you can flip back down to alter ego.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this could have some really good flipping options. That's one thing that I think protection can struggle with is flipping because of Thor. And so I think, as you said, this is a way to potentially offset that a little bit.
Yep.
But I do have a question. A little bit of rules corner.
Okay.
It says when an enemy would scheme, discard ready for fight. So let's say I had this upgraded. I am in hero form and you are an alter ego. The villain schemes. Can I activate it? Obviously, I can't change the hero form I'm already in, but I can satisfy that the enemy attacks you instead. Does that count?
Yeah, but you're not a valid target to play it. I would say you would have to be in alter ego form to be the valid target for the card to actually work.
You think so?
Yeah.
Because that first part can't be satisfied because the first part after the arrow. Because the main thing is, as long as the enemy it would scheme, then you can discard it.
Yes, but there's no valid target to change to hero form if you're already in hero form. So your understanding of the first part having to be fully resolved in order to do something isn't really, they kind of changed that. You have to have a valid target for the action to occur. Because like if you would have said, if it was a similar card that's like when an enemy would do X, remove 4 threat from a scheme. Well, if there was no threat on any scheme, you couldn't play that or do that card.
Yeah, and it does have that period at the end. So the action of the arrow, like what's happening, is the change to hero form. So,
yes. Yeah.
Yep. That makes sense.
Since it's played on you, I would say you, the person controlling it, would have to be an alter ego in order to interrupt it.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. I'm going to go with Energy Shield, 0 cost upgrade. Attached to a character, max 1 per character. It's an item tech. Interrupt. When attached character would take any amount of damage, spend X lightning resources. Prevent X of that damage. So, 0 cost tech. Iron Man would like this. Lightning resources. Iron Man and Thor may like this.
Oh, man. Thor would eat this up.
Wow. That's pretty cool. It is, I mean, resource for damage prevention. I don't know how I ultimately feel about that. I guess if I was desperate, but
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it being 0 cost is nice, and attack not too bad. So you're right, could be nice for Iron Man. I think Thor benefits the most because he can generate it, but anybody that can generate is not too bad.
So a little bit of fun thing here. So it's attached to a character. So you can attach it to anyone. You attach to a hero, an alter ego. You could attach it to a ally. You could technically attach it to a minion or the villain because it just is a character.
Attached to a character when attached characters, so it'd technically be an upgrade attached to a minion or that. Could you technically?
I mean, the way it reads, character, it doesn't say friendly.
Okay, hold on now. Hold your horses, people. Things are about to change. I have to look at Cyclops real quick just to make sure I understand his thing.
All right, well, you're looking through that. I'm going to read our last one. Or did you find it?
I find it. So like for Optic Blast for Cyclops, you have to spend a resource, blah, 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 deal damage to an enemy with an upgrade attached. And so this being 0 cost, you could throw it on someone and do it.
Okay. I'll allow it.
Or, even maybe Aggression. Aggression has some upgrade stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess that doesn't make sense because it's Aggression, but maybe Spider-Woman can utilize it.
You would have to have some character or friend do it for you. So, all right, Ryan, we got a new keyword here. Dr. Sinclair is a 2-cost support. She's a persona and a therapist.
Oh, okay, good.
How does that make you feel, Ryan?
How does it make me feel? Well, as you said, 2-cost support. It makes me feel like I should be an alter ego, and it's an action. Exhaust Dr. Sinclair and spend a mental resource, heal damage from your alter ego equal to your recovery. You may discard 1 status card from your identity. Any player may trigger this ability.
That's cool. 1 resource to heal up based off your recovery and discard status card.
It's like I'd say like a alter ego version of Night Nurse, but has the potential to do a lot more, obviously.
And it can be shared, which I think is cool too.
Yeah. I hate that you have to spend a resource, but with that said, healing, recovery, and discarding a status, and anybody can trigger that probably
pretty good.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Ryan, show me on this doll where the spider bit you.
Oh, it was right on the hand.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah, I like it. I really like that any player can trigger it because that's going to be awesome. I think this actually is not a bad card for Hulk. If you can get Hulk and his one of the cards probably one of your favorite cards, his his lab?
His laboratory. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's one of your favorite cards. It would be a good combo with that.
Does that generate a mental resource? Is that what that does?
It does, yep. It boosts his health and gives him a mental resource. So
they've already started. Hulk is fixed.
There it is. All he needed was a
therapist.
He's just so angry all the time.
Okay, right.
It's his anger management therapist.
That's right. He just needs to talk it out.
Yeah.
I have some thoughts about investigative journalism. So do you want to take Madam Web or you want me to go?
I'll take the Madam Web movie. Just kidding. All right. Madam Web. It is a 3-cost ally to thwart 1 attack, 1 consequential for both, 2 health. I don't like that. It's a Web Warrior response. After Madam Web enters play, look at the top X cards of the encounter deck, where X is the number of Web Warrior cards you control. You may discard 1 card looked at this way and put the rest back in any order. I don't mind it. I don't know if I'll play it a ton, but if you are looking towards like manipulating the encounter deck, this could be really good.
Yeah. So you would, at the minimum, if you were in hero form, it would be Silk as a Web Warrior and Madam Web. You'd have at least 2.
Yeah.
At minimum.
Yeah.
You have more.
It's the ally version of the Shield Justice card that I can't remember the name of.
Perfect. Is it Global Logistics?
Yes,
Is it the other
Global
one? Okay.
Logistics. Yeah. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Another team up card, Ryan. 2-cost event, investigative journalism. Team up Cindy Moon and Peter Parker. Max 1 per deck. Alter Ego Interrupt. When an enemy would scheme, cancel that activation and confuse that enemy.
Sweet.
Don't think that's great. So
Oh.
this is my it's not great if you want to try and play Spider-Man Peter Parker with Cindy Moon, because that means you would both have to be an alter ego,
True.
which is not great. And to me, this says that Peter Parker Spider-Man is going to be Hair's signature ally, because it's the only other way to make this card actually work.
Oh, that is a really good point. I don't hate it as much, because let's say if you do have the ally, then all you have to do is be an alter ego, and you got it. And then, even if you're playing 2 players and the other person was playing Spider-Man, if you both just time it like, hey, let's both go down, you're potentially for sure canceling a scheme, whether they have Stalwart or not, and then the potential with Confuse to do the other person. So it's going to be a dead villain phase.
Okay. I see your argument. Still, it's a lot of setup and perfect scenario, but
All set up, schmell up.
okay.
Now,
Before we go, go ahead.
I was going to say, I need to look at one other card, because did you know there are quite a few Peter Parker allies? Sorry, I have to look it up. Where's the Spider-Man?
Spider-Man.
Yes, Spider-Man, Peter Parker, basic ally, and then I believe there's a Justice
There is
Spider-Man. And
Peter
does it
Parker.
also have Peter Parker? Yes, it
Yes.
does. So there are more options. But again,
Yes.
if you have her, if Spider-Man is her
Signature ally,
then you
those are
can't play those anyways.
dead.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Before we go to final thoughts on Silk, another Thunderbolt encounter set is included. The Growing
Uh-oh.
Strong encounter set. It is Atlas, 0 thwart, 3 attack, 18 health. He's an elite Thunderbolt. Villainous, victory 1. Atlas gets +2 hit points for each growth counter on him. And force response after the villain phase ends, place 1 growth counter on Atlas. So he's going to keep getting more and more health the longer you keep him out.
Holy moly, crackatoli.
That's pretty bad. And he, if you get his side scheme out, he's got an alternate loss condition, Ryan.
Oh, geez, and it's terrible. Jeez, man, this is rough.
Okay, so I thought you were going to talk about it. So grow invulnerable. It's a side scheme. When revealed, place 1 additional threat here for each growth counter on Atlas. If Atlas has 10 or more growth counters on him, the players will lose the game.
And he gets a growth counter every villain phase.
Well, so you would have to leave him out for 10 rounds, hypothetically.
Yeah, I mean, and you're going to want to get rid of it as quick as possible. I think the idea behind it is not that it comes out and then it slowly builds up. It comes out at the worst time when he's already jacked up on growth
because
counters.
then it adds. Now, and if you play it in the Thunderbolt scenario, I'm pretty sure they kind of jump around, so you may not be able to hurt him to get him closer to dying, and he could be stacking those up.
Jeez, man, this is insane. See, what's funny is I see these, I know they're supposed to be interchangeable with that scenario, but if you just take these on their own into a different scenario, that's rough, man.
Yeah, especially if you get his treachery growing strong. When revealed, find Atlas and reveal him. If he's already in play, he engages you. Atlas activates against you. No enemy activated this way. This card gains surge. Yikes.
Yeah, it is a yikes. So if people were complaining how easy the game is, just throw a bunch of these in, and let's see how you feel.
Thunderbolt's in. Yep.
I do like the image for Atlas. He's literally crushing a plane, which is very that's sad. That's terrible.
It's pretty big. All right.
I think that's it, man.
Before we break it down, it did say April, so it looks like we're getting Shuri and Silk in the same month. So
Well, they're gonna do it. They're gonna do a twofer.
Yep. So that means we're gonna get a bunch of heroes in the first half of 2025. This will be good.
I know, it's gonna be super busy. I'm curious which hero is gonna get left behind. 4 heroes in a month and a half span is
Yeah, less than 2 months.
not very easy to get through them all.
Yeah. All right. Final thoughts, Ryan? Silk.
All right. Sydney Moon Silk. I really like the design of it. I like the idea of the tuck cards and how her cards interact with that. I think that can make her really powerful, but also have some whiffs. So maybe there's definitely a balance there. I am concerned with the thwarting, but I do like a lot of things that she has going for her. So I really like some of the cards that she's coming with, like protection cards. I think there's some potential growth for some other heroes with these cards. Let's see. Overall, cool. I'm down for it.
Yeah. I'm interested in how this whole tuck mechanic's going to work, and to me, I think I've expressed it a little bit, the consistency of having the right one at the right time against the right enemy. I have some worries, but I won't know until I play her, I guess.
Yeah, I was going to say that it almost feels like she will have like ping damage, but I can't say that because she has a huge attack and some of her other stuff like boosts her stats pretty dramatic. I don't know if this is accurate, but my guess is there's going to be a thwart upgrade that's going to be very similar to the attack one and the defense one.
Makes sense.
So that's probably going to help her thwarting a lot more. But I'm not really sure about some of these other events. We've only got 2. There might be
numbers. I think she may have 3 swinging silk kicks, but only 2 wall crawls, which I would rather probably have seen 3 wall crawls personally. But
the memory upgrade is 11 out of 15, and the other 2 is 14 and 15. So there's at least 12, 13. Yep. There's 2 between it. So I don't know if there's going to be another copy of the memory upgrade, but there's at least 2 more upgrades.
Okay.
J. Jonah Jameson, that's 8. So there's something between.
There's a 9 and a 1 and a 2. Yep. And then my guess is 3, 4, and 5 are all swinging silk kicks.
Yeah, you might be right. Or, well, unless 5 is a wall crawl, but you might be right. I think swinging silk kick might be a 3 for her.
I think 6, 7 is your wall crawl, and then 8's your get the scoop. 9 we don't know, and then
unless 1 is signature, 2 is swinging a silk kick, 3 and 4 all the kick, and then 5, 6, and 7.
Historical, they always show the first copy in sequence.
Hey, maybe they're wising up.
Get out of here.
Maybe they're trying to be like Marvel and throw people off in their trailers.
Okay. Yeah, they edit their cards to throw us off at scent.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, I'm excited for it. I think there's some good stuff coming with this one, and I like where it's heading. I will note, I don't think I mentioned it with Wall Crawl, but I am happy that it is not a 2-cost thwart that does 3 threat and something else. It is different. So I am happy about that.
Yep. All right. Let us know your thoughts on Cindy Moon. Is it the silk that you were wanting? Are you happy we have silk? Did you already know we had silk and you were just waiting for us to talk about it? Let us know. Reach out to us at marvelchampionspod@gmail.com. And as always, you want to go from a chump to a champ, listen to the Marvel Champions podcast. Thanks.
I think Web Warriors is a better trade than Mystic nowadays. See ya.